COVID-19, obviously, I think it's just taught us to be more humble, and I think it has given a new definition of kindness. Community, we're becoming more kinder towards each other. So that was a lesson to be learned in some form. It's even more unfair for the young people, because young people are the one who are most likely to lose their jobs, if they're in that position, or they are affected with their plans, their education, their all those things are disrupted. And I think it's very hard for me to actually advise anybody through that, because nobody can be in another person's shoes, what they're going through. All I can say is this is what I'm telling my students is, again, if you're resilient, you have to accept the situation, you have to accept it as it is, because there's nothing that nobody can do. And the only thing you can do is, during this time, utilize this time to build yourself, to find yourself, discover yourself, and continue to move forward, because that's what life teaches us. Life tells us the show must go on, and life has to continue. So I think that's the major thing for us, is we have to continue, we have to move on, and in one way or the other. And moving on doesn't mean that you just become strong and you forget about everything. Moving on, again, means that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay that we are there's been disruption, it's affected your family, it's affected yourself. But at the same time, I think it's important to acknowledge that if you need to get help, if you need that counseling, if you need that interaction with somebody else, then do get help. Very important to seek help. Don't just don't just suffer yourself and not seek for help. Talk to somebody, talk to people, get help. There's so many people around the world who are willing to help. There's so many different organizations. There's lots of people around the world who just, first thing is, make sure get help, if you need to get help. And then the second thing I would say is, just, if possible, move forward. That, I think, but it's a very difficult time. I completely understand. And I think it's made you realize how important family is. It's made us more kinder, I think. So universe has taught us a few things, but at the same time, I think we have to be prepared in the future that this doesn't, if this does happen again, then we are armed better.
I'll try to explain it in English, but the Chinese is the 黎明前的黑暗係最黑暗。The time when you experience the darkest time is something that you are going to having some dawn, or having some hope. I mean, sometimes when you feel you're going to fall down, but actually, if you step one step forward, actually is going to have a solution. So yeah, for me, or for the rest of the communities, or for the rest of the netizens, friends from Phoenix Foundation, or friends from Dragon 100, or the rest of my friends, I would say that keep on trying. Sometimes you think that it's not really that difficult, and you are actually experiencing the upwards trend. And it is, sometimes people will say that you're experiencing failures, whatever. There's nothing worse than experiencing failure. So you are at the lowest point. Anything you will do, you will be upper than the lowest point. So something that you think about that, and that would be a bit of cheerful, things for you to experience, or to think about it. Yeah.
I think it depends on the different things and different problems they face, because again, there are lots of layers in this problem. Like, a lot of my patients are affected by COVID-19 by their family or themselves catching the virus, or they're in a high risk group of catching virus, and being in socially isolated place worsens their mental health as well. And I suppose for students, it would be, maybe their classes being online and they're not being able to see their friends, and maybe also if they're in a foreign country, they might feel homesick and lack of support. and worrying about their hometown or their own health. I think one thing we need to remember is this is a common humanity that we're all facing, and we're all in this crisis together. And then so kind of having the idea that this is something shared by everyone, but it's not just you, I think it helps. And maybe joining other communities and kind of, and here like we have some support groups thing that for example, like the Hong Kong students, sometimes they might form like a group and support each other. If you don't have enough masks, and someone else might send you some masks, or if you're isolated, then they would kind of give you food and stuff. And it kind of helps with the social isolation aspect. And also I think something that's important is to establish a good daily routine, because like when you're at home and working from home, you might just easily like, you're associating your bedroom as like your workplace, and it might create some kind of stress in you, and you might feel anxious during the day. So maybe like having another workstation and trying to like not wear pajamas all day to kind of like distinguish your day and night, and then having some kind of rest and activities within the day to help you to break out your routine. Trying to do some exercise, maybe like at home or either outside when it's less crowded. I think these are just small things that could help. Yeah, so I don't have a quote, but I have like, I don't know if you heard of the Japanese wabi sabi. Yeah, it's like a bit of a philosophy, and it's like it kind of shows that actually imperfection is what's valuable and what's precious in something. It kind of means that it's a type of aesthetics, and it's a bit linked to Buddhism. And they were saying like how imperfection and transience and incompleteness is actually worth more than something that is just fully perfect. So it's a bit of a philosophy and aesthetic, and I just really like that idea because that what makes us unique is our imperfections, and we're not trying to be cookie mold, like kind of being the same. And then so like our experience, whether it's positive or negative, shapes who we are today. And so if we take what we learn from each of the experiences we have in our life, then we'll become more unique individuals.
This time of situation is we know this is a difficult time. I think we have to build up our resilience, but we strongly believe as like a human society, whenever you encounter difficulties, actually you strengthen yourself, and also you build up your resilience abilities. Right? So when you encounter similar, even bigger troubles, difficult in the future, you become stronger. So it's part of life. Sometimes we don't go as smoothly as we want to. So we take every challenge calmly, rationally, but always with a very positive mindset. So when the time comes, when we fix the thing, and then the day will come and even better than the old day. Right? So we must have a very strong belief, we should be able to overcome all kinds of difficulties because we are human beings, and we are strongly value guided and with a very, very positive mindset. Difficulty would be overcome. That's something I still strongly believe. Actually, I choose a quote. I find it's also quite corresponds with the philosophy of this institution. I don't know whether you know our campus is famous and featured by a lot of bamboo. So even all the furniture in this room are not made by wood. They are made by bamboo. You can see all the building panel everywhere. Also a lot of bamboo, plant. So I would like to use bamboo as one of the my favorite quote for building up our resilience. In fact, bamboo always imply, the Chinese philosophy, bamboo imply integrity, strict, flexibility, humble, evergreen. So I think it's not easy to fall down. So this is a quote actually by one of the very famous novel writer. I don't know whether you heard about her, just Judy Picoult. Actually, she produced 24 novels already, and 5 become a movie, a commercial movie. So what she said once in a movie script, the movie called My Sister's Keeper. Actually, it was in the cinema in 2019, so it's just about 1 year ago. So she wrote in the movie script, in her novels, it says like this: the human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you ever believe at first glance, right? So that's also resemble, the way we look at a bamboo. So if you facing difficulties, think about yourself as a bamboo. Right? That's something I would say very encouraging and very inspiring.
For me, resilience is really about play. Because I think in order to be resilient, you have to take life less seriously. And I see every obstacle, every challenge as being an opportunity to play, to experiment, and to find new ways and solutions.
建築一樣嘅，其實唔係去復原我哋個建築或者個城市，而係復原翻我哋人與人、人與大自然之間嘅關係咯，係復原翻我哋嘅內心同唔同嘅人，或者同翻個自然之間嗰個聯繫，呢個先係最重要。嗰個復原力唔係喺我哋個環境、個經濟環境、我哋嘅活動，而係復原翻我哋個內心嗰個嘅正面思維，同翻人同埋大自然之間嘅聯繫，呢個先係個核心咁樣樣。
I think it's just to fail, because I think a lot of people are scared to fail because they think that it's like bad. But I tell there's so much things I fail in. Like not all my projects are successful, and even some things that are successful, I don't consider them as a success because I think that it could have been bigger. So I felt that that was a failure. But then like I always just learn from it and see how I can make it better. I think it's just bad if you just keep succeeding because like you won't really have the courage to try something new, or you would just be so, your ego would be just so bruised if let's say next time you don't succeed. So I think it's just try different things.
前就試過同朋友咧去搞咗一個嘅活動，咁就叫失敗博物館。咁其實源於咧佢幾年前咧就搞咗一個活動，就叫做搞咗一個網上嘅展覽，就叫做撲直博物館。咁佢講緊咩就係覺得每次撲低咧都係一個值得嘅。咁我覺得呢件事好有意思。咁所以我哋前年嘅時候咧又再做過一件咁樣嘅事。因為對我哋嚟講，覺得成功同埋失敗其實唔係一個終點嚟嘅。可能好多人嘅諗法就係我做到某個位就等於成功啦。咁但係對我哋嚟講，就係反而覺得成功或者失敗其實一條路係不斷咁樣行緊。其實某一個位你係會叫成功或者失敗嘅。咁反而你每一次嘅一啲嘅挫敗啦，每一次嘅一啲嘅經歷咧，其實係令到你個人更加知道自己邊樣嘢係適合自己，或者邊樣嘢係你自己做得未夠好。咁所以我哋當其時就搞咗一個咁嘅活動。咁與此同時，另一個嘅諗法就係我哋好似喺個社會上面見到好多好成功嘅人，咁但係其實我哋都有經歷過佢哋失敗嘅時候啦。咁但係我成功好難去複製喎。咁例如我成日講一個例子就係我假設我今日請咗去馬雲或者請咗李嘉誠過嚟同大家去演講，咁但係其實我哋唔會變咗另一個馬雲，或者你做唔到第二個李嘉誠。咁但係調翻轉我哋去講一啲失敗嘅時候咧，可能大家會比較共鳴，大家都有經歷過類似一啲嘅感覺或者相關嘅經歷。咁反而呢樣嘢可能就係令到佢哋更加會有啲啟發，咁呢個都係我哋希望做到嘅嘢。
I think in many ways, I face challenges pretty much all the time, but certainly early on in my career, I faced some really enormous challenges, and the challenges tend to be more about me and myself and managing myself and my reaction to the work environment, and then my reaction to being challenged with work tasks and just developing. The biggest really was my start in life at work. It was really unorthodox, and I actually joined a really top management, a graduate trainee program of a top advertising agency in the world without a degree, but everyone else was a sort of Oxbridge graduate. And I was very fortunate to find myself in that position, but I got into the program. But I think from then on, I had always suffered from a lack of confidence and a sort of sense of, not quite, always feeling less than, and unsure how to be really with the people around me. So actually I was extremely unconfident and often literally would lose my voice in meetings. So although I think people understood that I was very good, I didn't show myself terribly well many times, to the point where it actually really caused me quite a lot of problems in my career. I found it very difficult to present. I didn't make probably the kind of progress I could have made had I had more courage to really push through that difficulty of confidence that I had. So that held me back, but it never quite stopped me. So somehow I just kept battling through it. And I think that's, when I talk about my achievement, that's really what I am most proud of, and somehow a little bit amazed, to be honest, that I've ended up where I am, because I've just kept pushing through the difficulties. And I literally would sit in a very big pitch meeting, start presenting, and just go freeze. And to the point where I had to leave the room, and somebody then took over for the rest of the meeting. That was early on in my career. So I faced those struggles, and I faced them. For example, the public speaking piece, which I found so difficult. I took up an offer from somebody who I've been lucky. People believe in me around me, and people help me. And she gave me the chance to be a keynote speaker at a very big conference. And it was the first time I'd done it, but somehow, because she believed in me, I believed in me, and I did it. And it was actually fine. It was really easy, and I did a good job. And, it's now sitting in social media. It was on YouTube, and that was my first real breakthrough with big public speaking. And I realized actually it's fine. So many of these barriers are our own, or certainly in my case, my own mental barriers that for whatever reason I'd set up over the years. So there's numerous difficulties, and every day as one gets more and more progressed, it's the challenges are kind of more nuanced at a different level, but it's still in the same space. I mean, it's just kind of evolved versions of the same basic problem of just battling my own sort of hesitation sometimes.
First of all, I must share with you that I am firstborn of 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys, where my mother and my father were both peasants. And unfortunately, my father passed on when I was in my Form 5 in A-level, and my father died of HIV/AIDS, and at that time the world has ended for me, of which I thought my mother was going to die maybe in the next 1 year, but thanking God that she has been there for the 25 years since my father passed on. And I carried on the mantle of looking after my siblings with my mother, who was a peasant. And I never went directly to the university to do my degree, so I had to start with diplomas until I paid up tuition for my siblings until they all completed level 4 in Ugandan education. And later, that's when I had to do my first degree at an older age, and when I was already married. So it has been a turning point for me that I have been really doing office work, doing homework, being a mother, and as I usually say, being a husband of my husband, of my mother, looking after her, making sure that all our siblings really go to school, and yes, being a leader at an early age, and being head of family at an early age, and being a girl has been a very big challenge, where most of the time the neighbors and the community, if I'm not a girl but a boy, building me, and considering of the things that I would do at my early age, and being able to make sure that the home, the children go to school, and my mother is not felt as she has been left out. It has been, yes, a long journey, but I must say at a certain time, there are successes that I have registered, and I feel it is something that has really empowered me.
Basically, I think I've shared this before through the media, the social media. My code of resilience would be persistent can turn a pause in life into a greater restart button. Okay, it depends on how you look at the life. Yeah.
Thank you, Faye. So I will stop the recording now.
Well, I would first ask anyone who's watching this to list 10 things that you really, really love in the world. So just think about it down in your head, the 10 things that you love so deeply that you prioritize them. So after listing it, it might be material things like, you know, cars and jewelries and nice things. It might be more experiential. It might be a walk on the beach. It might be your favorite people in the world, your lovers, your parents, your children, right? But after listing these 10 things, do you see yourself in it? Have you listed yourself in it? I guess most people would definitely list all the things that they love, and then they forgot to mention about themselves. Because that's what happened to me too. Unconditional love comes from the universe, comes from the nature, and then it also comes from ourselves. So from our own angle as a human being, first we have to love ourselves unconditionally. Without doing that, because of a lot of conditioning, I do understand that. We may, as a baby, when we were born, all the human interactions that we understand, all the love we understand might be from our parents. So if we get neglected back then when we grew up, we might not be able to feel the kind of connection. But I mean, I myself, my parents, they are excellent parents. They love me, but then they are traditional. They're kind of traditional shy parents that they won't always tell you how great you're doing, how much I love you, and your unconditional love, you're my child. Like they don't do stuff like that. So I believe a lot of people might be going through that too, and you have to question, like, do I matter? What am I? And then as we grew up, especially we're in Hong Kong now, and a lot of our circles are in this elite circles where people just look at you and judge you by your achievement, and you just grind all day, and you also judge yourself by that. And a little bit of setback and failure may make you feel, oh, I don't deserve anything. I'm not loved. Like that happens. That does happen. But the thing is, you are not any less. You are not defined by the certificates you have. Those are great, of course. Like those make you nice and professional, but that's not all that is to you and your life. Even if your parents, our parents, don't always say nice things, like they might say really mean things to us too. Right? Like even if that happened, love is always there. Just think about it. Like if they don't care about us, they're not gonna have all these high expectations to push us. It's just a matter of expression. And then I do know that there are abusive parents that will mentally and physically hurt their children. And on that issue is what we believe as wellness practitioners. What we believe is that each and every one of us carry wounds. Even our parents, they might carry wounds from our grandparents. So for that, all that it matters is that we cannot expect everyone to have that kind of awareness. But then if we're questioning about that, then we start to have this awareness, and that's what changes. That's how changes can happen. So what we do is, first, we love ourselves. We understand that unconditional love comes within. We try, no matter how should I say, like maybe shy and awkward it is for us to tell ourselves that I love you, you're enough, you are unconditionally loved and cared for. We still just treat yourself as a baby, as you would tell to a newborn, to your children. Give yourself that kind of love first, and then from then you can do it day by day. Gradually you will see the change that you have, and with acceptance and forgiveness, we can also heal what we call ancestral wounds that is passed down in the long term. Like first of all, love yourself unconditionally. That's the most important person. That is the biggest priority that you have to prioritize. It's not selfish, it is self-love, and eventually it's not only about you. If you do that now, you can also spread the love to everyone around you, eventually the world.
Again, I think that, in all our lives, especially I think now for most people, this is a setback. I think with COVID, obviously, unfortunately, many people have either been furloughed or have to have their pays cut, or, worse, a family member or a friend may have gotten COVID and it's affected their health. Maybe, worst case, they've passed away. So I think for a lot of us, it's a very tough time. But I guess, the silver lining is that, tough times don't last forever, but tough people do, that saying. So I think we all go through tough times. It's how we deal with it. And right now, I think everyone is going through a tough time almost, but who, I guess, will emerge the strongest depends on each of our decisions and each of our choices about how we plan to use this time and frame our mindset. So I guess, for me, kind of, it's about resilience. So really what the Phoenix Foundation is all about. So I kind of, my quote, or kind of the way I like to look at it is, that, we all kind of go through tough times. I think the key is not to let that time you fall, or that struggle be the defining moment. Like that shouldn't be your ending. That should be, that should be the moment in your journey where you became inspired to become more than you currently are. So using any setback, using any unfortunate situation like COVID, and using that as motivation to kind of grow yourself, to make sure that the next time there's another pandemic, hopefully not anytime soon, but if there is, that you have enough money saved that, that you'll be fine, or that, you have enough skills or a great enough resume that even in a tough time like this, you can get whatever job you want still, or that you build up your strength so that even if there is a pandemic, that, that your body your immune system is really strong and you're able to handle it. So just kind of, trying to use anything you can as positive motivation.
Wow. So I've been redefining a lot the concept of what I believe resilience is, because I think for me initially it was like, it's the capacity to hold yourself together when tough situations or challenges come. But I think it goes beyond that. For me, true resilience happens when you understand that challenges are not there happening to you, but for you, For me, resilience has a component of, let's say, awareness that whatever is happening is not because you should allow that thing to define you, or because bad things are happening to you, but because through challenging situations and through obstacles, it's that we grow best. So it's not about like, being hit and then you stand up. For me, it's about understanding, okay, if you're hit, you're gonna bounce like bolder, higher, better. It's about stop seeing failure or challenges as something evil happening to you from a victimhood place, but understanding that whatever is happening is setting you up for success, for your next version of yourself, for you to unfold into who you are meant to be in this world, and for you not to settle with smallness, but own your bigness and stand up from that.
That's amazing. Lastly, I would like to invite you to share your quotes of resilience.
Sure. So very, very similar to what I was just mentioning. I don't remember actually the author from that quote, but it said something down the line of, I am not what happened to me, I am who I choose to become. So yeah, it's a lot from living that victimhood place to own that you always have a choice, and that it depends, and it's up to you how you want to make that choice, and how do you want whatever is happening to set you up for the next level of yourself.
It's a beautiful quote.
Because just now I mentioned about how to build some habits, and like the 5 a.m. club, to try to wake up early to start your day. And I think there is another tip that I can share with you guys. Is about how to build good habits. It's all about repetition. When you repeat the same thing every day, you will for example, when you jog, when you do exercise, on the first day, second day, it will be so hard, it will be so frustrating. But then when you repeat, you just keep on repeating to the 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, then you can feel that there's something coming out from your body. You can feel the spirit, you can feel the refreshment. So I think repetition is also a very important key for all of us, because when you repeat something that you think there is meaning, when there is value for us, then you just repeat it every day, repeat it every moment. Then you will find the value out of it very soon. When I was young, like in primary school, high school, I was not that a leader type of person, but then I'm always taking the communicator role in my class or in my group. Yes, I always want to try to communicate with different people, to sort out all the problems, to have a team together. I think this is sort of what a leader should do. But then when I was young, I didn't really imagine that I'd become a leader one day. But then I think communication, being a good communicator, is some skills that I have been developing since very young. And I think this is there is a quote from Nelson Mandela. It is, do not judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fell down and come back up again. I think this is the quote for resilience for today.
Like, while I was a dream job for over 7 years since I graduated from my college. So of course, at the first beginning, everybody didn't believe that I could really make it happen. But after a few years, I proved it. The City Wanderer organization become like a kind of a stable and national organization based in Taiwan. But after 7 years, I realized what I really sacrificed during this path, that is my health. So in the first half of my entrepreneur journey, I didn't realize. I feel like, of course, I have to spend all my energy, all my resource, all my attention on my job, and that's very reasonable, because I had to do it in order to survive. So there were no question, no doubt about what I did. But after a few years passed, I started become really weak. My immune system has been really weak for at least 3 years. I went to see doctor again and again, like 42 times in 3 years to see doctor. So I can easily feel like there was something wrong about my body, and I didn't really know what it is. Like 2 years ago, and then I spent some time like observing my body for a while, and then and also check with the doctor like what happened about me. Also did the health check, health examination as well. Nothing really go wrong, but something go wrong in my mind and my body. So, and I realized, I think that was the pressure. I become very anxiety, and it becomes a habit, like a thinking habit. Like I am always anxiety. I'm always worried about my organization, always worry about my job. Even I get the project, the cooperations, I get the right person as the staffs. I am recognized as the top something of something. I still worry. I worry I cannot make it stable in the future. I am worried I would lose some of the resource in the future. I'm worried that my staff would leave one day. So I couldn't stop worry everything. And that become like the new challenge, new difficulty that I was facing since 2017 to 2018. That's also the reason why I quit like CEO in this year. I gave it to another great person, and then become a freelancer. Because I think it's also the before 2018, I thought I had to work like fully, like for the organization, because that's my organization. I need to sacrifice everything else for this organization, just like a mom. My child just born, and I need to sacrifice everything, all the other things, personal interest, no personal interest, no personal time, no freedom, in order to make this child become healthier and grow happily. But after a few years, I realized that's not the situation is not the same anymore. This child has grown safely. He's not like a 1-year-old kid anymore. He's an adult. He has his own friend. My staff, they are really brilliant and very reliable to like make these organizations stable. They don't need me that much anymore. So I decided to that myself to pursue my own health and my own family life again. In last year, I make this decision and try to give myself a new opportunity to look back about what I missed in the past 7 years, and also don't push myself that much like I did in like 7 years ago. So I think it's a new challenge in this stage of my life, and I'm also processing it right now. Especially the pandemic is everywhere, and I think it's also a good moment for reviewing my life and spend more time on reflection instead of making new projects happen.
Be there. It's to spend time. Is to simply ensure that my presence is constantly felt by my children. And I will share that as a child myself. I mentioned my mother was always around. She was at the house when I woke up, and then she was at school when I went to school, and then she brought me back to the house, and yeah, she was always there. My father, however, because of his career and essentially the fact that he was the main breadwinner for the family, he was the one bringing in the income to support us, he had to select jobs that meant he wasn't necessarily home all the time. And there was a good chunk of my teenage years where he worked in a place that was about a 6-hour drive away, and he would live there during the week and work there, and then come back on the weekend. And I feel like I love my dad. I have tremendous respect for him, but I feel like if there's anything I would change around what I learned from him as a child, it would be making sure that no matter what, I'm just constantly around my kids. So there's tremendous power in proximity, essentially. That's the first point. I think the second point is that Jorian and I, my wife and I, have always believed in the power of, what's the best way to frame this? In the power of ensuring that we are not parents who control and command our child's choices and future, but that we are more mentors or guides as opposed to dictators. And so that requires a little bit of letting go. It requires a lot of trust. In other words, like, we never put, I don't know if this is a thing in Hong Kong, but we never put like the safety gates at the top of the stairs so that the kid wouldn't fall down the stairs. We let the child fall down a few times, and then, you know, get a few bumps and scrapes, and then you know, if we imbued them with any intelligence from our combined DNA, realize that maybe they shouldn't like go tumbling down the stairs again. Like, in other words, you know, what are the tools that we can deploy as parents to make sure that our kids feel nurtured and supported, but also free to decide who they are and how they want to navigate the world? I think that's a really important piece. And then the last piece is fun, is play, is really just enjoy it, you know, get silly, you know, do karaoke as a family, play a bunch of games together, go on hikes, you know, learn new activities together. I have so much fun as a father, and learning new things and going through new experiences with my kids. It's an incredible joy. It's an incredible source of pleasure for me.
And shame. She said, the courage to be vulnerable is not about winning or losing. It's about the courage to show up when you can't predict or control the outcome. I think this is very important in this age because we face a lot of uncertainties. We don't know whether our efforts will pay off or not. We don't know whether we'll succeed or not. But if we have the courage and we can accept that even if after we have endeavored, we have made efforts, but if we still failed, it's still acceptable. Then I think life will be much happier.
I have I created a code of resilience is 3E and 3 shapes: endure hardship, embrace leadership, and establish championship. I hope that we go through the hardship and we upgrade ourselves. We be a leaders of our life. We lead our life to establish a championship all your life. So this is why I want to share about my code of resilience.
There are 2 quotes. The first one is from a book called The Success Factors, which is a very famous book. The rule of thumb is I am responsible for every aspect of my life, no matter what are the environment circumstances coming to you. You are always responsible for your own self. And the second one is actually from the founder of Sony, Xingdou Wofu. I forgot about the English name. He wrote in his bibliography in one line, which is translated to Chinese like this: 人生嘅 purpose 係為咗 escalate 你嘅 soul， 為咗你嘅 personal growth 去 enhance 自己。你嚟嘅時候係冇帶任何嘢嚟嘅，你走嘅時候亦都唔帶走任何嘢，但係其實你嘅靈魂係 uplift 咗嘅。So these are the two quotes. That's what I was saying. They are my life motto. I don't know how to translate it. So I think the ultimate purpose of our life is to uplift our soul. We come without anything and we leave without much belongings, but it doesn't mean that we did not create any value to the world. We have to uplift our personal growth, our values to the society and to our earth before our last day came. How about this?
Thank you. For me, resilience is about bouncing back. No matter what kind of challenges you are facing or you have faced, it's the optimism, it's the hope that you remain after seeing all the challenges and difficulties, that you still remain that bright picture in life.
It always seemed for all of us that life is about to begin and life is about to be better and world is about to be better than before. But there are always challenges, always uncertainties, always there comes obstacle. And we as a humanity, our whole civilization have created a track record that we have beaten, we have overcome all challenges and all obstacles. It is not the last, it is not the first, it is the process. The humanity have always been able to respond, and we will overcome these situations. And human beings are amazing creator. They will create any possible solution that even not exists right now. We will find a way and we will be better place and better humanity. And our health, our societies, our communities, and the whole universe, whatever confusion it is going through, it has to accept a fact that the next version is always better version. Though we pay a lot of cost, though we are, paying, and, this hardship is not a fake hardship. This hardship and these challenges are not just like illusionary challenges. These are real, but more real will be the solution. Our economic system will transform, I guess. Our political system will be transforming. Our social systems are, being transformed. Our relationships are also being, deeply thought. We are under the process. So everything will be a better version. I'm confident about that, right?
Well, I think acknowledging one's vulnerability is a key, and realize that the whole world is made up of vulnerable people. I'm just like, if I'm vulnerable, I'm just like one of all the others, because that's the way we all are. So it's not something to be ashamed of. And then I think to shift the focus, it's not about what I want to become. It's because it's about what can I do in this world that we own together. What's the difference I can do to the world, to people around me? What's my part in it?
Conscious thinking actually is a term that's invented by myself. It is actually through my experiences during all these years since 2013. I think that because I practice meditation, I am a meditator. So for myself, I think that I feel very much that meditation is very, very useful, very helpful to my life. It's really transformed me a lot. And you all of us know that I love singing so much, you know. So, and when I since 2013, I feel that after I practice meditation for a period of time, my singing started to transform. My voice started to transform. And previously, I didn't know how to compose. You know, I didn't have any idea what is composing a song like. But after the practice of meditation, I have so many inspirations. Actually, the song just popped up, you know. When I received invitation from organizations asked me to compose songs, indeed, I set an intention. Oh, okay. I accept the invitation, and then I set an intention during my meditation. I said, well, okay, now I set this intention. I have to compose a song for this organization for this and that purpose, and then okay, and then I let go this intention. I just during my day, and then I just I don't really so forceful to ask, oh, okay, I have to sing the tunes and like this. And then after a while, the song just came up. So it is really amazing. You know, maybe during the day, you know, maybe not during the meditation, the tunes will come up, but sometime during the day or a few days later, the tunes come up. So it is really amazing. So come back to conscious singing. So singing is also like this. After meditation, because I feel that it's because my heart opens a lot, opens up, and also some of my negativities purified. So I let go a lot of my previous traumatic stories, you know. So many negativities, many negative emotions. After a period of meditation, it's really like dissolved and purified. And my heart started to feel the love and many elevated emotion, gratitude, courage, forgiveness, many others, positive emotions. So I think it's because of this, I have, you know, the singing voice, then how I sing is very different from before. And I think if I can teach others to open their hearts, to purify, to dissolve their negative emotions through conscious singing, through using their awareness to sing as a meditation practice. And they will easily, because through the music, you know, music has healing power, as Clive said. Music has healing power. So through the practice of conscious singing as a meditation practice, along with the tunes, and the students, the participants, they will easily let go their negative emotions and also let go their negative stories, and they started to transform their thinking patterns from negative to positive direction. So they will start to install, to have, to cultivate elevated emotions such as love, compassion, courage, forgiveness, etc., etc. So I think it's a easier way for people who don't have a meditation experience before. Maybe some people, they may say, oh, it is so very difficult for me to sit, you know, and do nothing, and then to let go my thoughts. I have so many thoughts. I just cannot sit here, you know, still, you know. But through conscious singing, singing, you know, is a fun way, you know. It's an easy way for people to take it as a meditation practice, to let go their negativity and cultivate their elevated emotion, and to improve their mindset and improve their quality of life, and to build up their self-esteem and confidence. So, and also it will improve their communication with others, because I do not just teach singing, but also use your speaking voice. So that is the conscious singing, how you can improve, you know, in different areas of your life and your mindset, everything. Yeah.
And when you add some or you have course, and then to calculate your GPA, then it will be very low. And but in the higher diploma program, the difference between two programs is that in higher diploma, 60% courses are your major, which is history, and in associate degree, 60% of your courses are general study type, which is everything you need to know, but you don't know everything. For example, like for example, like the mathematics, or some like how to use the Flash software, and it's quite difficult for me, and I don't have that motivation about it, so that I'm not that hardworking. Yeah, but but in history major, everything is history. Yeah, and you have because just like you got to write 10,000 words for the homework, then just write 10,000, then everything will be fine. And do what the teacher need you to do. For example, like the citation, make write and find more picture. And if someone just do 10 data collection, then you do 100, then you will be fine in the program. Yeah, I guess I don't change much, because just a gap year, just a year. Yeah, but I think it's the technical part things, because I'm not that good at winning in the official system. And the second part is I feel like because when I in the first semester of my associate degree, it's really upset because you just got 1.9. It's as low as you know. In secondary school, I'm not in the final scope of the student, but in associate degree, you just got 1.9. Then everything you dream of, university or something, then you need to have 3 point something, then you have a chance to get into the university. But if you just 1 point something, then every dreams will leave you. Yeah. So I think at the fresh start course a bit high, because the time cost is important. We can get back to this part later. Yeah. But at least you got a new chance to try. And yeah, just take a years, because there is another technical part, because if you got a higher GPA, then you can have an interview for you for the university. Yeah.
Oh, for bachelor degree. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Do you have actually, do you have a quote on resilience?
I would quote songs, because I love the songs of Albert Leung, which is Lam Dịch. one of his songs for Ethan Tran, which is a very famous Cantonese singer, in falling flowers and flowing water, 落花流水, is my favorite. And one of his script is that only when the habits are unpredictable would we delight, like 習慣無常才會慶幸, because life has a lot of challenge or unpredictable thing, and if you take everything just keep clean and carry on, then everything will be fine, and you will do your best because you expect nothing, or you don't expect that high, but you still work very hard. Then I guess it's a good attitude or a good mode of me.
I guess you have to know what's happening in the world and yourself, because when the world is changing so fast, you have to know what you have to do for your future. For example, what other thing you can invest right now for securing your future better. Besides your job, any other things you want to invest for yourself. So you have to think for it, because if you're individual, you have to think for yourself. If you have a family, you have to think for your family. So you have to try everything in a longer term, because the world is changing so fast. You see the politics, you see the world is different climatically. So you have to think forward. And the third thing is, I think you have to learn more yourself. Like you study different kinds of things, but not everyone is willing to learn up to a certain age. They are more fulfilled with their own career now, or current career. But if you suddenly lost your job or get cut off or laid off, then you have to think, what should I do in the same industry, or do I have an opportunity to change to another industry? Or the same industry is no longer the same perspective as before. Like many things will be changed or replaced by robots in the future. So you might lose your job too. So at that time, you have to think what things you're interested in, you're willing to learn, to cultivate yourself, or learn for yourself for the future. If you look at Earth, it is one of the planets within a very, very big universe. You never know there's any type of kind of life in other planets. So you have to see, oh, we are so tiny. We are inside a planet. We are just a little bit a human bacteria, maybe you can name it. So we are so small. So there's such a big world or big universe out there. So I try to think in a big perspective. We are actually very, what do I say? Very fragile. Very fragile and very, very small. Very, very tiny. And that kind of mindset made me feel like you don't have to be very, very powerful. Sometimes you have to give yourself some space and room for being fragile, because that is one platform that you can rebuild your strength and keep going your life as human on Earth. So that is one of the thinking. I think we don't have to think ourselves as very important people. We have to think tiny first ourselves. We have to do well on our own first. You have to be responsible for your own life first. So you live well, you do your own good, then you have the strength to do others good. That is one thinking I've been thinking for being a human being at 30 something. Yeah. Yes. So resilience is something like challenge, or what the challenge from God. When God gives you a challenge, it is challenge manageable. You can manage it. There's nothing beyond your ability. So I think challenge is never a challenge. It's not a challenge. It means something you can learn and you encounter and you become more powerful. So resilience to me is a self-training. It's like a mountain. You see a mountain with a certain height, but maybe after crossing that mountain, you see a higher mountain and you keep crossing it. You think, oh, that's not difficult. You can cross every mountain and you can cross every river, no matter how wide it is. As long as you can swim and you have a boat, you can do anything you can. Or so resilience is actually a self-training, a self-realization of the world and yourself.
My favorite quote of resilience comes from, it's an African term, Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, and it simply says, I am because we are. And the resilience of that is in whatever situation you're applying it to. Like, I am the educator I am today because of the ancestors, because of my past experiences, because of all of these situations that helped cultivate and shape me into who I am. And when I'm able to pour that back into someone or pour that back into an initiative, I am able to do that because we are able.
Chance to talk about specific stuff. Yeah, just like, okay, you know my brother because you went to the same school with him. You know how popular he was.
Yeah, he's a star.
Exactly. No one would notice it. Frankly, nowadays, no one. No, I used to be called my brother's my brother's called Dolan. I said Dolan's brother. No one even called my name. No one know about me. When I was in secondary school. But nowadays it's opposite. It's Jimmy's brother. Inside no one. He's really admirable. He's a medical doctor, very successful one. Helping a lot of people. Recently actually I asked him because a lot of my friends asked me to convince him to do his private practice. Because he's now a consultant in the hospital, and then he said no to me. And then that's one single reason, because he said if he left the hospital, a lot of operation that he has been doing will be no one to do it. So a lot of patients in the queue won't receive the best treatment. So he definitely stayed because of that reason. And then I just, wow, salute to my brother, seriously, I would just say, wow, there's still people like would care so much,
Yeah, that's true.
And I guess that's a great reminder, because, many of my friends, even the medical doctor, they say like, oh, that's very lucrative. If you do your own private practice, we can just open a clinic and then you can make a lot of money, more flexi hours, stuff like that. And then I said, yeah, why not? And then I could be part of it. I could be an investor. But after like hearing my brother's reason and purpose, I just feel I was so little. I thought about like opening like a private practice. Anyway,
you're also doing amazing things for the health of everyone.
It just happened that we're in a different position, just like you yourself. I really admire your devotion to the education. To make our world a better place. Frankly, it's really cliche again. But if all the bright people, they just look after their own pocket instead of seeing how we can actually do to make a world a better place. I always love to say these analogies. Nowadays everyone talk about deserve, what we deserve, okay? But frankly, I always remind people around me, or I remind myself every day, what we can serve. The word deserve and serve, that's just matter with a D-E. And then the word always with D-E in English means I'm not going to do it, all right? I'm not going to serve, so I deserve, all right? So this is a good reminder to me, anyway. And my brother's case, also actually reminded me that what we should do, especially we're a capable person.
Never be afraid of failure, because failure is just the mother of success. I'm not sure whether this is something that has already been shared with someone, but then, yes, I truly believe in it. And if you fail enough times, then you will success. Just you don't know when, but then you will one day. Resilience is, I guess when you believe in something, when you believe that it is true and this is important to you, you persist. And one day, when you keep working on it, one day you will bounce back.
Yes, certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
Effort, building the strength. Right?
Yeah, building the strength. Yes.
And lastly, if I may, I would like to ask some personal questions. Yeah. So, as a young professional woman, you need to like balance between work and family. Do you have some tips for the young parents, on the social media can learn, how to be a successful professional at the same time, so a good like parent? Yeah.
I would also use the same strategy. Always make use of that time. Whenever you're staying with your kids, you best use of that time. You focus and play with your kid. But then when you are at work, you truly focus on at work. I don't really like the idea of too multitasking. I believe that everybody has to multitask, but I don't really like that when you are playing with kids and you are like on your mobile, you're replying to WhatsApp, and that would truly distract. But then I believe in focus. So when you are doing something, you truly focus on that. And later on, when you allocate time into work, then you truly focus on the work. So I guess this is how I manage my time as well with different organizations.
The whole COVID-19 actually changes the communication ways people have before. Like before, we will see each other face to face. We will have lunch, dinner, tea together, and gather together. But during COVID-19, many people are like separated and isolated in this world. But I would say technology is a good, what is that word? It's a good thing that it was invented in this world, because through camera, actually many people with depression or with anxiety, they dare not to go out of the world, all have social anxiety problem. Camera actually is like a more safer box for them to hide behind. So they don't need to really face people face to face, and you can choose to shut your screen off if you want others to see you. Just left your voices there, but you can still express. I would say it's a very good way for we to connect and communicate together. Although there's no actual body touch contact, but we can understand each other through talking, through the facial expression, through the tone of voice, through anything in this virtual world. And we can find ways to play in this virtual world. I have I attended some workshops. I have hosted some workshops with people. We are dancing through the screen. We are playing drama through the screen. You can actually try to use your imagination and explore more new ways to work through the camera and connect with others, connect with people. And through the pandemic time, some people think the economy is really going worse. I'm losing my job. I got unemployed. But I see this as an opportunity for us to reflect ourselves. A time to really sit down and think, what do you want in your life? Not just working for no purposes, with no meaning, and just to feed yourself and your family members. But you need to really think, if the situation won't be better in a short time, how can you make use of this time to change yourself into a better self? Like you can learn new studies through online platform, YouTube. You can inspired by many other great people in the YouTube, in the internet world, that you don't even have time before to really take a look at their work or their speech. Now is the time for you to reflect, to really think about what do you want in your life, and how can you make the best of your time now? Because I also reflect on my work. I love my job. I was working as a therapist already, but I can see still there is a new way for me to connect with this world. I recently connect with the rest of the internet, the rest of the world through internet by launching some courses online in the international platform. Use teaching courses in English that I never tried before. So it's a very good time actually for you to explore new things and new working opportunities, connect with others. I also connect with, it's in just 1 month actually, connect with the rest of the China, in other city, the psychiatrists there, the hospital there, to try to see how art therapy can work with them. And I get really good response from these different kinds of organizations and parties telling me that, oh, they're very interested in my work. And yeah, that's a good opportunity as I see, and chances. If you see, this is a very interesting story. When one person, he goes to Africa and see that, oh, there is everybody is not wearing shoes there, and then he think, oh, I cannot sell shoes there because nobody's wearing shoes. But the other person, he goes to Africa, I see, oh, it's a very good chance that because this place nobody wearing shoes, that's why I can sell shoes here. So it's just a matter of thoughts that how is you change your perspective on things. You see the pandemic, the difficult time as opportunities for you to do other things, or for you to explore new opportunities or challenge or learning or anything.
Challenge is that as a romantic, I get laughed at pretty often. But I think one challenge, and this calls back to quite a while ago in my undergrad, and that's about almost 10 years ago, I think, almost. In my undergrad, there was this 1 year when I started realizing that I have nothing on my resume, that I've been having too much fun. My resume was a blank piece of paper with my name on it. And in that moment, there was this realization that without a good resume, I can't get into the fun activities or events or internships. But then it's also the internships and fun activities that fill out my resume. So it's kind of stuck. I can't go anywhere without a good resume, but I can't get a good resume to begin with. So what do? This is when I need to lower myself. I need to be humble, which I was at the point. I was humbled by the fact that I don't have a good resume, deeply humbled. And I started asking people, or in some cases begging people, to give me opportunities to learn, practice, and have fun. And that made me realize that my position in life is very important in that whether I have the leverage to do something I want or don't. And then knowing that what I want in life is very ambitious, which is to spread, share, and teach people about conflict analysis and resolution. That means I need a stunning resume, potentially a PhD, which I really don't want to do. But I do need to have a strong resume, background, and leverage to persuade people to listen to me and show people that conflict can be resolved and people can be inspired to continue working on something that they don't see an end towards. And that connects a little bit to COVID, I think. That we need to continue inspiring people. Yes, times are tough, numbers are rising, it goes down and rises again. We see no end. There's no promise that a vaccine will work. And actually, I think some studies are telling us that a vaccine works for only 1 year. And it's going to be a lot of money. But that we shouldn't stop. We shouldn't say, let's give up. Let's just let COVID take whoever that COVID will take and the rest will be fine. That's not how we should go about doing that. We should go about doing that by continuing, striving for the work that we've always done, to be resilient, to be strong in the face of such obstacles.
And do you have any advice for people around the world currently facing COVID-19?
One of the first things I can say is that barring economic hardship, if one can afford it, getting a Nintendo Switch is very helpful. That's number one. For jokes aside, I think the number one thing, and this connects to me being romantic, is that human connection is so important, even if it's over World of Warcraft. Just playing with other people, staying positive, having fun, and knowing that, having the belief, and therefore knowing that this will end, and then the next obstacle will come. And as humanity altogether, we will face the next one. That's having faith and having that belief. Another thing I would say to everybody in COVID and having difficulty is to definitely find something to occupy ourselves and acknowledge that it is something we are doing to occupy ourselves. So everybody with COVID-19 right now, they're saying, I'm going to practice my 10K. I'm going to learn French. I'm going to learn English. I'm going to learn how to knit. Everybody's doing something like that. And I think it would be very helpful if we acknowledge that that's something that we're trying to do, learning to do right now is purely for fun. And it's only helping to get us through this. That could actually make it easier, make it more fun, make it.
But I would say that what helped me really strong is my ability to schedule every week personal time. When I say personal time is I love sports. I practice sports, long distance running, and for me it was one of my priority over the period of change. Not only over the last 2 years, but over the last 20 years. When I was working in a different position in my previous role and companies, I was implementing in my agenda time for me to meet myself, to run. And sometimes it was really early in the morning at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. The evening. But I was always keeping that moment and that time to, refresh yourself, refresh your mind, to take a breathe. And running was for me that moment. For some people, it's going to be going to the museum. For others, it's going to be watching a movie. For others, whatever. But take that time to breathe and to refresh your mind and also your body.
In currently, the world is facing COVID-19. And some countries, they also have the lockdown regulations, so measures. So what would you advise people on the social media to cope with this situation?
Well, I mean, it's complicated because basically I was exactly in the same situation that billion of people. One day your life is running, everything is perfect, your personal life, your job, the people you are meeting, you have social interaction, you go to the restaurant, you can practice sport, you can meet your family and whatever. And one day everything stopped because COVID-19. What is COVID-19? Why? What happened? And you're stuck at home. You cannot meet your people anymore. You cannot have that social interaction. You cannot go to work in your offices. You can, even meeting people in the tube was refreshing. And I realized that after the lockdown, not before the lockdown. Before the lockdown, it was sometimes boring to take the tube to meet people. It was overcrowded everywhere. And after that, you just realize, oh my gosh, it was so good, that kind of environment. Because comparing to be stuck in a home or in a sofa, living room, in a table, it's complicated. So I don't know what to say to people because I don't even know if I was able to deal successfully with the situation. I think at the moment, but it was tough, and it's still tough because in a way we are still in that kind of lockdown. Even if there is no lockdown here in the UK anymore, I mean, you cannot go to your office anymore. If you want to go to the museum, you have to book everything, and it's normal because we have to protect ourselves and everyone else, you know. So my recommendation would be try to be close to your friend and also your family, because for instance, in your family, you certainly have elderly and old people, or you know what I mean, or people who are a little bit isolated because they live abroad, they are not close to you, they need your help and they can help you. So try to keep in touch with them, try to share moments with them. Use also the social media and use also technology like we are doing right now. I would love to be in Hong Kong with you right now. Unfortunately, I'm in London, or you would love to be in London and you are in Hong Kong. But we can use as a technology that kind of video to talk to us. And actually, it's not so bad. It's good, you know. I discovered that yes, it's good to meet people through a video, and even to have a drink with people through a video. That's fun. But so yes, try to use technology and try to use the internet to keep in touch with people, to keep that social interaction. And I would say finally, share your feeling with your closer family, wife, children, and friend. Share your feelings because it's a tough period. So your mood is going up and your mood is going down. And I remember that sometime I was really positive and I was saying to my wife, no, stay positive. The situation is going to improve. Don't worry and whatever. And the following weeks I was, oh my gosh, we are in a mess. It's a never-ending process. We are stuck at home. I mean, we cannot do anything. Look, outside the weather is amazing and we are stuck at home. So, you know, you have to share your feelings, and you don't hesitate to do that with your family, your friend, and to listen to them also. And because it's tough, it's a complicated period. And finally, use that situation positively as an opportunity to change who you are and the way you work and the way you do things. You know what I mean? Not by saying, hey, I cannot do that, can't do that anymore. But what can I do right now? What are my resources right now? And how can I deal with the situation? What kind of positive thing I can do? Let's try to deal with the technology. Let's try to read new book. Let's try to do your shopping differently, to buy things differently, to meet people differently. So it's also an opportunity to change. And in some way, I realized that, I mean, you can be much more efficient on so many tasks and so many everyday life tasks or professional tasks by using a different way to do it. So yeah, consider that situation as an opportunity.